Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing amazing today. In this video, we're diving into the latest updates about Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos. You don't want to miss this. So make sure to stay tuned till the end, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. For nearly 3 decades, Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos have been Hollywood's golden couple, a love story that began on the set of All My Children and blossomed into a lifelong partnership that has weathered fame, distance, and the challenges of raising a family in the spotlight. But in a recent emotional revelation, Kelly peeled back the curtain on her seemingly perfect marriage, admitting that even a love as enduring as theirs has known moments of heartbreak, loneliness, and silent struggle. The confession, raw and deeply human, shocked many of her fans who had always seen Kelly and Mark as the embodiment of marital bliss. But for Kelly, speaking her truth wasn't about protecting an image, it was about honoring the reality of love's complexities, the pain that comes with growth, and the bittersweet truth that even the strongest marriages sometimes break your heart before they make you whole again. The love that started on screen. It all began in 1995 when a young Kelly Ripa, already a rising star on All My Children, met a charming newcomer named Mark Consuelos. Their chemistry was instant, electric, and impossible to hide. Within a year, they secretly eloped in Las Vegas. No Hollywood fanfare, no public spectacle, just two people in love, promising forever under neon lights. For years, their love story felt like a fairy tale. 3 children, successful careers, and a shared sense of humor that made their relationship feel both glamorous and relatable. Fans adored them, the way they flirted on camera, their playful banter on live with Kelly and Mark, and the effortless way they supported one another through the unpredictable waves of celebrity life. But behind the laughter and shared smiles, Kelly now admits, were chapters of heartbreak that the public never saw. Marriage isn't always 50-50. During a candid interview, Kelly confessed that the secret to her long marriage wasn't perfection, it was endurance. There were years, she admitted softly, where we didn't see eye to eye on anything. There were moments when it felt like we were speaking 2 different languages. She explained how, over time, the demands of life, career pressures, children, constant travel, created invisible cracks in their relationship. It's easy to lose each other in the chaos, she said. You think you're working toward the same goals, but sometimes you realize you drifted in opposite directions without even noticing. Kelly described the early years of raising their 3 children, Michael, Lola, and Joaquin, as some of the most joyful and yet emotionally draining years of her life. Mark's acting career often kept him away on location for months, leaving Kelly to manage both her talk show and motherhood. I would go to bed exhausted and wake up before dawn to do it all again, she shared. There were days I felt like a single parent, and that built a quiet resentment I didn't want to acknowledge. But instead of giving up, she fought to understand what those feelings were telling her. I realized that marriage isn't always 50-50. Sometimes it's 80-20. Sometimes it's 10-90. And that's okay, as long as both of you keep showing up, even when it's hard. The loneliness of love. One of the most heartbreaking parts of Kelly's confession was her honesty about loneliness, a word few associate with a couple so visibly connected. People assume that if you're in love, you can't be lonely, she said. But I've learned that you can share a home, a life, and even a bed with someone and still feel unseen. She described periods when their communication broke down, when small arguments became walls, and affection turned into habit. There were moments when I would look at Mark and think, does he even know who I am anymore? And I'm sure he felt the same way about me. Kelly admitted that it took years for her to understand that love evolves. The person you marry isn't the same person 10 or 20 years later, and neither are you. The heartbreak comes when you realize that you have to fall in love with each other all over again, over and over, through every version of who you become. Finding strength in vulnerability. For Kelly, healing came through vulnerability, through being brave enough to stop pretending everything was fine. I had to stop performing even in my own marriage, she said. I'm so used to keeping the show going, smiling through everything. But at some point, I had to say, I'm not okay. We're not okay. And that honesty saved us. Mark, she revealed, was equally willing to face the hard truths. We both had to admit that we were hurting each other without meaning to. That takes humility, to look at the person you love most and say, I failed you, but I still want us. Together, they sought counseling, rediscovered shared rituals like cooking dinner together, and even started journaling as a way to communicate honestly. Sometimes it's easier to write the words you can't say out loud, Kelly explained. We wrote letters to each other, and reading them reminded me of why I fell in love with him in the first place. A love reborn. Now, as they approach their 30th anniversary, Kelly describes their love as different, deeper, more fragile but more real. It's not the wild, young love we had in our 20s, she said with a wistful smile. It's quieter now, but it's also more intentional. We choose each other, every single day, not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. The heartbreak, she says, never truly disappears. Every long marriage carries little heartbreaks, dreams that change, words we can't take back, moments we wish we'd handled differently. But those heartbreaks become part of your story. They make your love more honest. What Kelly learned about love. In reflecting on her journey, Kelly shared a few lessons that struck a chord with anyone who's ever loved deeply. Love is work. Fairy tales don't tell you that the hardest part of marriage isn't falling in love. It's staying in love when life gets messy. Communication is survival. The moment you stop talking, the distance grows. Speak, even when your voice shakes. Forgiveness is freedom. You can't move forward if you're keeping score. At some point, you have to choose grace over being right. Change is inevitable. You either grow together or you grow apart. There's no standing still in love. The heart still beats strong. Kelly Ripa's openness is a reminder that even the most beautiful love stories have their share of heartbreak. But it's also proof that heartbreak doesn't have to mean the end. Sometimes, it's the very thing that deepens the roots of love. I used to think heartbreak meant something was broken, she reflected. Now I know it just means your heart is still alive, still feeling, still fighting for what matters. And for Kelly and Mark, after 29 years of laughter, tears, and rediscovery, what matters is still each other. Raising a family in the spotlight. One of the greatest sources of both joy and tension in Kelly and Mark's marriage has been their children. Michael, Lola, and Joaquin have grown up with cameras and public attention often looming nearby. Kelly admitted that the balancing act of protecting her children's privacy while maintaining her career added unique pressures. There were times I felt guilty for not being there for every soccer game, recital, or parent-teacher conference, she said. Mark felt the same way when work took him away. It's hard because as a parent, your instinct is to give everything, but life doesn't always allow it. She reflected on the silent pact she and Mark made early on, to always put family first, even if the world only saw them as television personalities. We learned to negotiate what mattered most. Sometimes it was dinner together. Sometimes it was a weekend away. Every little ritual became a lifeline for our marriage. Stay tuned for all the updates about Kelly Ripa. We are the first to publish all the information about Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos, so stay with us to get all the latest updates. And stay tuned to our USA Daily Drop for all updates.